Well, I think we should find out who the Republican donor is, but you have to also look at this and say, wait a minute, the new DNC is pointing fingers at the old DNC and trying to say, whoa, it didn't happen on our watch. So they're admitting that this happened. You also have to remember that Hillary Clinton has denied this emphatically for over a year, that she had anything to do with this dossier. And am I surprised by it? No. Why? The Democrats were involved in 1979 working with the Russians, 1980 working with the Russians, 1984 working with the Russians. They have been in collusion with Russia for as long as I can remember politically. So am I surprised by it? No. But the fallout's going to be a number 6 on magnitude against the DNC and Hillary Clinton.
Well, according to the Post's report, Fusion GPS hired former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele to do the work for that dossier. It began as a look into Trump's background, but turned to be looking at Trump's alleged ties to Russia. The FBI continued paying for that research after the election until Steele's name was finally made public. The FBI says some of the information in that dossier has been verified, but that the more salacious aspects of it have not, which the president has denied.
FBI,
Go ahead, Michael.
The FBI took this dossier, if you will, and then started paying Steele to continue with his research on this. This is the guy who gets hired by the Soviet Union, by Russia, to do dirty politics against those who don't like Vladimir Putin. I mean, the connections are unbelievable. And the FBI knew about this for so long, paid Steele. No, this is going to get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, and the FBI's being brought into it. And we need to really find out more about how the FBI colluded with the Democrats and Russia and Steele, and why they, in fact, stayed on the sidelines for so long playing this who me attitude, when in fact they were hip deep in all of it.
Well, in the meantime, the founders of the firm behind that dossier, Fusion GPS, have now refused to testify before the House Intelligence Committee. As I mentioned before, over the weekend, the president slammed the officials behind it, this dossier, for pleading the Fifth. He's also urging the Justice Department or the FBI to immediately release, again, the name of the person who paid for this. Congressman Trey Gowdy, who leads the House Insight Committee, says he wants to get to the bottom of everything. Here's what he said.
It is relevant who paid for the dossier. It's much more relevant who relied upon it. So my focus has always been whether or not the Department of Justice and the FBI relied upon an unsourced CI document to launch a counterintelligence investigation. So I want to know whether the nation's premier law enforcement agency relied on a document that looks like the National Enquirer prepared it.
And it seems like the congressman seems to be echoing what you were just saying there, Michael. Does he, again, raise a valid point?
Oh, absolutely a valid point about the FBI. Where were they with all this? And Comey, all the things we're starting to find out now. And again, go back to the fact, all the denials coming from the DNC, coming from Hillary Clinton, as if they had nothing to do with it, and pointing a finger at the president as if he was in collusion with, in fact, Russia. And they haven't found one iota of proof for any collusion between the president and Russia. But now they're finding all kinds of proof between the Clinton campaign and the DNC and Russia having to do with the campaign.
But here, let's go back to that key question here is, do you think the FBI will release that information to the public as the president has requested?
I would certainly hope that they release the information to the public. It's interesting that, in fact, that you have to have the president telling people to release the information to exonerate him, and they want to hold it close to the vest so people can go on with this dossier thought process, and it's as if the President of the United States has done something terribly wrong that's in this dossier. You need to let the president become free of this, and the FBI can do that by releasing it, by holding on to it. They just keep the narrative going that's in the mainstream media.
Newsmax TV. Watch us on DirecTV, AT&T Uverse, and Verizon Fios, or download our free app. Don't have Newsmax TV? Call your local cable provider and request Newsmax today.